The flame angelfish is one of the most popular of the dwarf angelfish species. Spot one in a tank, and you'll realize why they're so popular. The fish get their name from the fiery red bodies, set off with an orange center, almost as if they possessed a fiery core. They also have black bars on the sides, and deep blue ends to their fins. Put it together, and you have a striking fish that's perfect for any reef tank. Table of contents: flame angelfish. Compared to some of the larger members of the group, flame angelfish are much more manageable. You don't need as much space, and they're not as prone to misbehavior as some of their cousins. Of course, you still have a few quirks you'll need to watch for. That's where the following top 10 frequently asked questions will help you decide whether the species works for you. Feel free to jump to the section that interests you most. Or you can scan the entire article and earn the most interesting facts about keeping these brilliant saltwater aquarium fish. Flame angelfish natural habitat. One of the best features of flame angelfish is its vibrant colors. You can't miss them, even in a stunning reef tank display. But did you know the region the fish inhabit determines their appearance? True story. The species ranges throughout the tropical Indo-Pacific, but you'll find minor variations depending on exactly where you look. In the Central Pacific, you find two possibilities, depending on which of the island reefs you visit. Around Marshall Island, the angels take on a vibrant red, with almost no orange showing on the scales. They also have much thicker black bars down the sides. In contrast, the fish have the traditional red-orange combination, and thin black stripes around the Christmas Islands. Same region, but two possibilities for appearance. As you head toward Hawaii, you'll see the solid red color emerge again, with less of the orange tint showing through. You also get the fluorescent blue edges on the fins. They're the most popular version of the flame angelfish. Then there are the flame angels around Cebu and Tahiti. These fish don't usually make it into the fish stores that often. They're a dark red with blurry black bars down the sides. You can also see a touch of yellow between the stripes. If you spot one, know it's a rare find. Flame angelfish, regardless of what part of the Pacific they're hanging out in, stick around stony coral reefs. They prefer clearer waters, and they stay on the outer fringes. You don't find them very deep, either no more than 16 to 82 feet. The colorful fish form small schools of between 3 to 7 fish. They're always moving, picking around the rocks and corals for their next meals. Are flame angels considered hardy? Flame angelfish work well for hobbyists of any experience level. And one of the reasons why is their hardiness. Despite their collection from the wild, they adapt into home aquariums without too much trouble. You still need to perform a 2-week quarantine, of course, but you shouldn't struggle with acclimation. They also don't require a specialized diet. The one exception to the hardy definition is their susceptibility to marine itch, but we'll go into that in more depth in a few minutes. How long do flame angelfish live? Flame angels don't do too badly in the aging department. On average, they'll survive between 5 to 7 years. That's with optimal care, though. And, unfortunately, while they're considered a hardy species, they don't do as well with the collection and shipping processes. The initial stress leaves them vulnerable to the marine parasites they bring with them. And if you're not careful with that quarantine period, you may not see your flame angelfish survive for very long. It's critical that you ask your local fish store to hold your flame angel for a couple of weeks before you bring it home. That way, you'll ensure the fish is healthy enough for the trip to your aquarium. You don't want to risk bringing an ill or weak fish into your display. Not when you're spending that kind of money. How large do flame angelfish get? Compared to your average angelfish, flame angels are miniature. They only reach an adult size of around 6 inches. Males usually stretch further than the females too. Not the smallest fish in an average saltwater aquarium, but dwarf compared to the more oceanic angelfish species out there. Of course, in captivity, you may only see your flame angelfish reach 4 inches in length. Still not a bad size for a centerpiece fish. And plenty large enough to cause problems for the smaller species in the tank, if you're not careful. What is the minimum tank size to keep flame angels? When it comes to setting up a tank for flame angelfish, the consensus online is that there isn't a consensus. You'll find sites that recommend as little as 45 gallons and others that go up to 70 gallons. People add notes, whether you're keeping a single angel or anticipating a pair and trying to boil down one standard's nearly impossible. So let me share my perspective on the matter. Flame angelfish swim around the tank a lot. The little fish never seem to stop swimming, even when you think they should pause to sleep. Everyday routines include swimming and nibbling algae on rocks in the aquarium glass. But the fish is also on the small side. Now, I've successfully raised flame angels in a 70-gallon tank without any issues. So my recommendation is somewhere in between. A 55-gallon tank feels appropriate. And if you can offer 48 inches of length, you'll give this fish an excellent territory to zip around in. However, if you're planning to keep a pair or school of flame angelfish, consider doubling your tank size. You want to ensure you've got room for swimming space and live rock. The bigger your tank, the less crowded you'll make things. Besides, bigger is better is always a good mantra to follow in this hobby. Are flame angelfish reef safe? The flame angelfish is reef safe, with some cause for caution. You can expect to safely keep them with other reef fish, corals, and invertebrates in an aquarium. Caution is advised due to the observation that certain individual fish may nip at corals in some situations. Generally speaking, they're not a problem for corals. After all, their natural environment is on the reef fringe throughout the Pacific. They even enjoy plucking algae from rock structures, removing the pest before it can compete with your frags. But that's where the problem starts. Flame angels aren't above nibbling on fleshy polyps. And it's down to the individual fish, whether they'll decide to chew on your corals. Now, they won't pose a problem to your shrimp, crabs, or other mobile invertebrates. Clam mantles may pose the same temptation as the polyps, though, so keep an eye on things. Many reef tank owners are willing to roll the dice to keep these gorgeous fish in their aquariums. And there's always the chance your flame angel won't show any interest in your corals. But you should have a backup plan just in case. You don't want to risk your beautiful display tank. Are flame angelfish aggressive? If you've encountered the larger angelfish species out there, you know they can turn into bullies in the home aquarium. And it's only natural to wonder if the dwarf cousins possess the same mean streak. As it turns out, it's possible. Flame angelfish are considered semi-aggressive. They have a habit of turning on other angelfish and displaying territoriality towards fish added to an aquarium after they've established their territory. This translates to thinking ahead when you decide you want to include flame angels in your display tank. You can manage the aggression levels with some planning. The more space you provide, the less likely you are to see problems. And if you add your flame angelfish last, it won't have a chance to set up a territory in the tank. This calms down that mean streak. Then you'll have more harmony within your aquarium. You can also limit infighting by keeping just one flame angel. Males fight with each other. If you really want more than one, consider a mated pair. What are the common diseases and parasites of flame angels? While hardy, flame angelfish tend to bring skin parasites like saltwater itch with them when they're collected. This is why it's crucial to quarantine and monitor your new purchases for any signs of white spots. The stress of transportation leaves the fish vulnerable for the parasite to invade, leaving them infested. And that's the last thing you want for your display tank. Besides itch, flame angels often bring marine velvet with them. If you happen to notice either parasite during the quarantine phase, you can quickly treat them. Both respond to increasing your water temperature or using over-the-counter medications. Ideally, you want to catch the problem before the fish enter the display tanks. You can't use most drugs around invertebrates. So don't skip that quarantine. Flame angelfish may also contract Vibrio bacterial infections. It's not common, but you'll want to keep a close eye on any new purchases. Watch for pop-eye, dropsy, or bleeding on the skin. Vibrio kills fish fast, so you want to catch the signs as quickly as possible. You can treat the bacterial infection with a freshwater dip. Pros and cons. Your reef tank will gain color with flame angelfish. But let's keep some essentials in mind before rushing to the fish store. Pros. First one, flame angelfish are generally considered reef safe, although some individuals may turn out to be polyp nippers. The second one, flame angels are generally peaceful towards other non-angelfish. The third one, flame angelfish are easy to feed, hardy, and moderately easy to keep. Cons. First one, flame angelfish need a lot of swimming space and prefer to live in groups. They are not an ano-tank species. The second one, due to needing to collect them from the wild, flame angels are expensive. The third one, because they're not easy to breed in captivity, flame angelfish are only available as wild-caught specimens taken directly from the reef. So, today we are talking about some details about flame angelfish. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more videos.